So this Thanksgiving, instead of the traditional pumpkin pie, I have a suggestion for making something a little different and instead making a pumpkin bundt cake. So this is just a pumpkin cake baked in a classic bundt pan, and I used a mini bundt pan. And if you don't have a mini bundt pan, you could use a regular size classic bundt pan, but you just need two that you stack on top of one another. And then I'm going to show you how you make this adorable little stem and some leaves out of some candies. So I have some of my mini bundt pumpkin cakes already baked. And really we're just going to stick two of them together. So I'm going to take one and flip it over. And you need something to sort of have the top stick on it, some sort of filling. So I'm going to use some store-bought caramel that I just put in the microwave to kind of soften a bit. You could use really anything. There's a glaze that you could use as the filling. You could use buttercream, ganache, whatever you want to kind of get them to stick together. So I'm just going to put a little bit on and spread it around just to get the top to stick on there. And then I'm going to take one of the other ones, and these are pretty flat. If your bunts bake with a little bit of a dome on the bottom, just slice them off so that they're flat and that they'll stick together. And you want to line up the design so that they fit together like that. So once you've actually assembled all of your pumpkin bundt cakes, now we can move on to making some stems for them. So I have a variety of candies here you can use to make the stems out of. You can do caramels, you can do these chocolate kind of chewy taffy candies. I found some green ones that I think work real well for the pumpkin stem, so I'm going to use those today. If they're a little hard, you can just stick them in the microwave for a bit to get them soft, and that they'll make them easier to handle. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take it and kind of knead the ends a little bit just to soften them up because they have some bumps. And then I'm just going to roll it out to get it a bit longer. I'm just going to go in between my hands, get it nice and long, get it a little longer. And then I want to make some lines on it to act as the lines of the pumpkin stem. So I'm going to use just the flat edge of a spatula for that. You could always use a knife, just be really careful if you do. And I'm just going to press into the candy as I rotate it. So I'm getting lots of nice lines in it. And you can go around a couple of times just to make it look extra detailed. Okay, so once that you have all your lines in there, then you can give it a little twist because that actually gives it sort of that stem sort of look. And you can flatten the edges, make it look as gnarly as you want because that's how pumpkin stems typically look. So then what I would do with this is take a skewer. So I had some of these skewers that you use just for like kebabs and stuff, and I cut them so that it's just about 1/4 of an inch taller than the height of the cake. And I'm going to stick this into one end of my pumpkin stem, just a little bit so I can get it on the end there. So now to this, I actually want to add a few leaves to give it a little more detail. So you can take another candy and maybe break off like 1/5 or 1/4 of it, just like that. And again, you want it to be nice and soft. And roll it in kind of a ball. And then you want to just pinch it, pinch the ends to a point, and then flatten the entire thing into sort of a leaf shape. And just keep pressing it until it gets nice and thin, kind of leaf looking. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then you can use either a toothpick to sort of give it some ridges and some detail, but I kind of cheat and use my fingernails sometimes because I feel like just pressing those into the candy makes it almost look more leaf-like than anything else. And then you have a nice little leaf that you can attach to your base of your stem. This typically attaches pretty well by itself, but if it's not sticking, you can dab a little water on it and then it'll stick real well. But there you go. So you have a little leaf there, and then you just stick it into your cake. Like so. So here's a few examples of the finished product. You can see all the different kinds of stems based on the different candies. This cake is just plain. You can also top the cakes in a simple glaze, and if you really want to get creative, you can even dye the glaze orange so that it really looks like a pumpkin. So we hope you enjoy these pumpkin cakes for this Thanksgiving holiday.